You ever wondered why your New Year's resolutions often fizzle out? I know it's not because you lack ambition or drive, it's because you're missing a secret ingredient, which is exactly what we're going to discuss in this video. And look, I know that we all have dreams. I do, you do. It can be anywhere from scaling the corporate ladder to becoming the best version of yourself. But there's a gap between dreaming and doing, and that's where many of us falter. That bridge that actually connects these two things, it's habits. And that's what we're going to discuss today. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Jeff Angelone. I want to get you from where you are right now to where you want to be. Do me a favor, download the free Millionaire Mindset checklist below this video. So I want to start off by discussing what it takes between you need to understand the habit and the goal connection. Habit-goal connection. So think about this. And I know I'm not an artist, so this is my version of a car. So imagine setting out on like a road trip cross country. You got no wheels on your car. Sounds stupid, right? But that's exactly what happens when you have goals without the habits to support them. So if you want to lose 40 pounds, but you don't want to eat right or go to the gym, what's the point? You think that's going to happen? You think you're going to reach that goal? So habits act as the wheels. Habits act as the wheels that actually propel us forwards towards where we want to go. So we want to get from where we are, 40 pounds overweight, to losing 40 pounds, right? And while setting up habits is a start, ensuring that they actually continue and stick is where the real challenge lies. And that's where we come into what's called a trigger moment. All right. So a trigger moment, it's a specific cue that reminds you to act on your habit. All right. Let me give you some examples. The first one is a phone alarm. All right. So everybody has a phone pretty much, right? In our digital age, we all carry them with us, probably in your pocket right now. You may even be watching this video on your phone. Here's the thing, use it to your advantage, all right? So for instance, if you want to, maybe there's certain situations during your day that you're real stressed out or whatever, and you want to be calm. You want to cultivate some sort of calmness in that area. Well, what you can do, you can use your phone and set multiple alarms throughout the day. Maybe at certain time periods, maybe 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever. When this alarm goes off, you recognize it and it prompts you to pause, take a breath, center yourself throughout the day. If not, you're probably never going to do it, but that's a great way to use your phone. The second one is what's called action-based triggers. Action-based triggers. So what you should do, just like when we were talking about the trigger moment, you want to link a new habit to an existing routine. All right. So for instance, if you're aiming for like more energy, okay, set a rule. And I do this a lot because I'm here a lot. I'm researching. I'm blogging. I'm writing articles. So I could look up and I've been here for 3 or 4 hours without moving. All right. So something that I like to do is every time I sit down to work, I will set some sort of maybe alarm, maybe 45 minutes. Okay. And make it a point that as soon as that goes off, I take a 10-minute break, stretch, walk around, whatever. So that is, I'm linking a new habit, which is I'm getting up, I'm walking around, I'm stretching, whatever, to an existing routine that I always have. I do know that one thing that I do in between each of my surgeries, because a lot of times I'm kind of in this position for 45 minutes to maybe an hour and a half. When I get up, before I even walk out the door, I'm putting my arms and I'm stretching. So that's immediately that's an action-based trigger. So as soon as I get up from a procedure, I'm stretching, I'm doing this, I'm stretching it out. Okay. Number 3, it's what's called a door frame trigger. Okay. Door frame trigger. Now this psychological hack involves associating specific actions with actually doorways, which is kind of like what I just described. So think about this. Whenever you walk into a room, you walk into like a new room, you have a psychological trigger. It goes off in your mind that you've associated actually with that door frame that you walk through. Okay. Let me give you an example. So let's say you have a long day at work. You get home and you open the door, you go through the door frame, you're going to meet your partner. All right. You're going to meet your husband or wife. Now, what you could do is you could train your mind to, as soon as you go through that door frame, to instantly recall 3 specific words about that person. Okay. Whatever it is, you just condition yourself. So you could be stressed out, you've had a bad day, whatever comes to mind. So think about what 3 words would you want that person to hear, that you saying like, wife is beautiful, wife is great, husband is it, whatever it is. So when you see them, boom, that gets you the trigger. All right. So you want to identify with those words and actually make them always focusing on them when you go through the doorway. What about the science behind it? So our brains love patterns. So, and when we repeatedly associate a trigger with a specific action, sometimes people wear a rubber band if they do something, they pop their arm or whatever. Our brain actually starts to link between the two, and then over time, encountering the trigger automatically prompts associated action, making the habit feel almost like it's effortless. And then you have something called a ripple effect. So the beauty of the habit triggers is they can have a ripple or like a cascading effect. So as you solidify one habit, you get confidence and then you get discipline. It spills over, making it easier to establish other positive habits. It's basically just a cycle of success where one achievement paves the way for another achievement, on and on. And one of the things that helped me out a lot was the Dave Ramsey debt snowball. So when we got out of debt, when I got out of my residency, I had like $300,000 of debt. And one of the things that Dave Ramsey taught back then, because 20 years ago, that's all I knew for financial advice. And I got out, I got screwed out of a job, I hurt my wrist, I had all these things going on, had all this debt. I'm like, I had to like start from scratch. What do I do? So I use this snowball method. And this shows you about the ripple effect, because what you do is you list out all your debts. Basically, you list them out, smallest to largest, and you attack the smallest one. Let's say it's like $2,000. Throw all your money at the $2,000 debt, and then all the other ones you just pay minimum on every month. And then once we paid off that debt, again, it made it easier for me to keep going, to keep saving more money, to pay off the next one even quicker. So it made me have more positive habits, get in the cycle of success. And after 7 years, we luckily were able to pay off everything, including that first house. So I want you to start by identifying a goal that's eluded you, okay? And I want you to break it down into the habits that can basically just lead you to get there, all right? Then you want to brainstorm some of these potential trigger moments for each habit. Remember, the key is being consistent with anything, just being consistent, showing up every day. And the more that you respond to these triggers, the stronger the habit becomes. So I want to give you an example. So I was making a little bit of room up here. Let's say somebody, a lot of times people come to me, they want to get some passive income. All they have is active income. They're trading time for money. Maybe they're a physician, dentist, attorney, engineer, pharmacist, IT person, whatever. If they don't show up to work, then they don't get paid. So they come to me and their goal, they're like, Jeff, I've got to get some passive income. And then we break it down further than that. We kind of find out their why. But in this case, we're going to start off with wanting passive income. Okay. The first step is you want to, remember, break it down and then get some habits. Because probably right now, if you don't have any passive income, all you're doing is just going to work, probably making a good living, trading time for money and coming home. If you don't work, you don't get paid. And then that active income, that's the highest tax income, whether you know that or not. So you want to break it down, and you want to identify the habits that are going to get you there, that are going to lead you to the passive income. All right. So what you can start doing, you can research different investment opportunities. You can start to watch. I've got a bunch of videos. I have a bunch of articles. I have all kinds of information helping you understand about the goal you're trying to get to, passive income. Okay. Where can you get it from? You can get it from, my favorite is real estate. You can do dividend paying stocks. You can buy businesses. You could create a digital product, do peer-to-peer lending, do all kinds of stuff. Just start learning about it. Okay. And then you want to start saving money. Okay. You want to set aside. So remember, we're breaking these down into habits. So first thing, just make it a habit. You're researching, you're educating yourself. The second one is you're saving money. You're setting aside a portion of your income regularly to invest in if a passive income opportunity comes. You're educating yourself. Okay. Again, YouTube videos are great. Articles are great. Here's something else that you can educate yourself with is networking. That's one thing that people look over that's been huge getting me to where I want to go. Okay. Connecting with people who have successfully generated passive income, learn from their experiences. Okay. So now we get to the point where we want to brainstorm. We want to actually brainstorm some of these. some of these potential trigger moments, okay? I'll just put, we want to brainstorm potential trigger moments for each habit, okay? So we go back up here, researching. So let's say you want to be interested in real estate, okay? So what you could do here is say, okay, well, every Saturday morning, make your habit. Every Saturday morning, you're having, that's the trigger moment. You get up Saturday morning, cup of coffee, you're going to spend an hour researching, okay? Saving money. What you can do, and this is how we started, we still do it. Every time you get paid, if you are work for somebody, or if you're self-employed like me, you can just say every time you get paid, you want to set up an automatic transfer, and we just do it into a checking account, like a money market account that's earmarked for passive income. It's earmarked for passive income investments. Just automatically start doing it, okay? And then it's kind of like if you have a 401k, more than likely it comes out of your check. You don't have to do anything. So basically you just set it and forget it, okay? Then about the educating yourself. So you want to listen. Let's say you have like a long commute or something, or maybe if you don't have a long commute, if you have a long commute, you can just basically just listen to a podcast or something. Set aside, hey, on the either going to work or coming home from work, I'm going to educate myself and listen to a podcast. I mean, that's one of the absolute best things to do. Or if you're at the gym on the treadmill or whatever, or set aside, you can set aside like, every Wednesday you're going to read and you're going to educate yourself. And then networking, you want to make it a point that you attend like maybe a local or online investment group, maybe like one time a month, something like that. Again, once you have these things out, then you want to do the trigger habits, and then you want to be consistent with it, okay? If you need to here, go to your Google Calendar and set a reminder every Saturday morning you're researching, okay? Again, you've already being consistent because you've already set up the automatic transfer, whether it's every time you get paid or once a week, once a month, whatever you want to do. So for educating yourself, again, being consistent, you want to maybe create like a reading or some sort of course list, and then you set milestones like, hey, I'm gonna here's a book right here, Napoleon Hill, Grow Rich. Let's say you have that book, and you say, okay, in a month I'm going to read this book. In 2 weeks I'm going to read it a month, and then the next book is here. Write out your list and just write, the month of October, month of November, December, whatever it is. Set milestones. And again, for networking, you can do the same thing. Again, you can join online forums or local groups, whatever, and actually go again to your Google Calendar and mark meetings on the Google Calendar, so you're reminded. And that's the key, man. The key is consistency. By consistently responding to these triggers, you're going to gradually build habits. Okay, you're going to gradually build habits that are going to contribute to the larger goal. What was the larger goal? You want passive income, right? You want to generate passive income. And then over time, as you start to have investment opportunities and you start investing in them, start seeing returns, then you're going to realize all of this, you realize the fruits of all of your consistent efforts. And that, my friend, is the power of habit and setting triggers. Now, I hope this helped you. Do me a favor. If it did, hit the like button. If you know somebody that you think would benefit from this, do me a favor, hit that little share button, send it to them. I'd appreciate it. Take care.